Okay. Hello, everybody. We're gonna do a bit of asteroid marking before I really get started, and you think I'd have that all set up, and I don't quite have all that set up for you. So let me finish getting that set up. Hey, thanks for the bits, Kerbal. Hey, Puck, speak. Well, Tinker, speak. Really? Okay, I'll accept that. I'm actually quite happy with that. So here's the Cheerios. And transition over. And make it rain! We're gonna make it rain again because that was actually a good speak from Tinker. I don't know if you heard it or not, but that was a good speak from Tinkerbell. Oh, alright. We are 1,072 images done. That actually makes me quite happy. Oops, that's not what I wanted to make full screen. So hello Kerbal, hello DPI, hello Trekker Kev, hello Mike. We're gonna mark Bennu before we get really started. So this is not a replacement for daily space. This is me killing time in a somewhat productive way. So also, I would be doing this after the news stream, but I'm supposed to I need to run some errands today. So I won't be able to do that. I don't think. Because I think my parents are going to be here too. So yeah, we're gonna mark probably one image, because it does take me a while to do an image. And go from there. And then dive into daily space. Which, you know, I never tweet about. Which I probably should start tweeting about. But, you know, it's kind of hard when you finish your slides right before you go on. Yeah, rocks! I know, right? My makeup's already done, so y'all don't have to watch me do my makeup. It's amazing. And I have coffee. A little bit of coffee left. So, but today, actually, let me back up a little bit. So, the state of Ohio has this thing where you renew your license, your driver's license, and your vehicle registration on your birthday. Or by your birthday. You can actually do it before your birthday, and I think they give you like a week, like a leeway before it's considered late. A week or two, they give you leeway. And you can do it online, but if it's really close to like your birthday, it's really best to just go in person and do it and pay it. And it's that time of year for me. Tomorrow is my birthday, and I have my scooter registration needs to be renewed. I don't have to do my driver's license. You have food! I might have to get up and feed him. But my scooter registration needs renewed, and my dad and I are switching scooters. So we need to get the title taken care of, and then we need to move move my current motorcycle license plates onto the new scooter, but it doesn't look like I'll be able to take it home today because it's raining. So that's sad. Congratulations on renewing your license. I think my license is good for another... I check it, like, obsessively. But I think I got it done a couple years ago now. And I think I'm good for another 2 or 3 years. Lag-Adder asks, is it a hover scooter by any chance? No, it is a Honda Elite 80, I think. It is a very small gas-powered scooter. I can't go above 43 miles per hour. Yes, that is very exact with the 43 miles per hour. And that's if I'm going downhill and the wind is pushing me. So, it's perfect for using around town. It's a little scary when I do the beginning of season and end of season trip to my parents' house because they have a large garage and my dad works on motorcycles. So he usually works on my scooter over the winter. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I would love to have a hover scooter. The longest trip I've actually ever been on was probably... It would have taken me probably 45 minutes by car and using the highway, or maybe 30 minutes, but it took me well over an hour just to get there. And it was one of those things where it was like, well, I need to get there, so I'm gonna do it. It was an interesting ride. It was an interesting ride. Yeah, I mean, it definitely has the 80s aesthetic. It has not changed. It does not look like a Vespa, but Vespa is in the same category. Some people just call all scooters Vespas. It's not a Vespa. I will get very defensive about that. Vespas are really expensive. The hardware and stuff on it hasn't changed much since it's been out, and it was 80s through early 2000s, so 20 years. Not a whole lot changed on this scooter, which actually makes it really nice when you're trying to find replacement parts, except for when they're plastic replacement parts, like the plastic trunk lid, which can get expensive. Like, ridiculously expensive. But yeah, it's a nice looking scooter. I've only ever seen one like mine out in the wild in Youngstown, and that one was in a whole lot worse shape than mine. So my dad has definitely put a lot of effort into restoring my original scooter, or not really restoring it, but you know, getting it to run nice, look nice. And the one that he bought that we're switching is essentially, it's a newer model, which is why we're switching, and it already looks really nice. The only downside is that it's blue and my old one was white, so I feel like it's not going to be as visible. But this is why I wear like highly reflective stuff when I ride, because I don't trust motorists. So anyways, that's why we're doing Benny marking now instead of later. have you a cool art helmet. I do, actually. I don't think my helmet is in the house, otherwise I would show you. Years and years and years ago, I need to replace my helmet soon. Years and years and years ago, like, I kind of traded services, or I kind of did a barter with somebody, and I digitized their artwork. They had a sketch and I digitized it. And, because at the time I was really comfortable with Illustrator and could do a whole lot of cool things. And they painted some artwork on the back of my helmet. And it is a very toothy fish. It is a very toothy orange fish. He looks awesome. I don't think there's any way for me to preserve the fish. And I will be very sad when it's time to get a new helmet. So DPI says, when I go out on the bike, I actually wear mostly black because I feel that makes me stand out. Also, my bike is black, so that fits. It does fit. Black can get hot in the summer. That's my concern. My parents are gold wingers. In a way, you're doing basic line art right now. Yeah, I know, right? My parents are are gold wingers, and they were actually the safety people for a while. And, you know, as long as you're wearing a helmet, I don't get too twitchy about it. But like on my scooter, even though I don't go very fast, I still wear a motorcycle jacket. I still wear long pants. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, I'm wearing my combat boots. And I wear gloves too, so I look like I'm going to hop on, you know, the back of one of their motorcycles to go on the highway for a long trip, but no, I'm just driving around town. That's true, but unless it comes near 40 degrees Celsius, you still have the airstream. It depends on if you're doing a lot of stop and going or you're just going. If you're not stopping at like red lights and stop signs, yeah, I'm sure you're comfortable and you're fine. But for the amount of city driving I do, that would be super uncomfortable because I stop all the time. All the time. So, my parents didn't start wearing reflective stuff until they came out to see me graduate from basic training. The military post I was on required motorcyclists to wear a reflective vest. So they had to go and get a reflective vest for each of them, and then words, Annie. And then, you know, they could ride around. And then since then, they've just added more and more and more reflective stuff. So, I wonder what the temperature difference would be. Lagatter says, I wonder what the temperature difference would be between a completely black and completely white outfit, besides the white outfit potentially blinding everyone. It probably does, as DPI says, it probably does depend on the temperature. Part of me is like, I'd rather blind everyone. I don't trust motorists when I'm on my scooter. Or on my bicycle. But that's my preference. And again, as long as you're wearing a helmet, I'm not going to get too twitchy about it. So, yeah, and the temperature source. But my parents, like, to give you some context, my parents didn't always wear helmets. I always wore a helmet because it's the law in Ohio. Because I've been riding on the back of their motorcycles or on the back of my dad's motorcycle for years. Like, I would be like 9 and be dropped off at swim meets. Not 9, but like 10 or 11. Dropped off at swim meets. Back from a motorcycle. So, but yeah, helmets are important. Whatever makes you comfortable, and as long as you've got a helmet, you know, that's all your decision. But please, for God's sake, wear a helmet. Okay, enough of ranting about motorcycle safety. I know, huh, Puck? You're just off screen and you know it. So how is everyone doing today? What do y'all got planned for today? I know Guido's not around, so we can't ask him about dinner. This is such a weird image. Rock, 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 rock. Do. I know, huh, Puck? I know. Looks like, alright, more Cheerios, please. Can you speak? No? Okay. Ooh. Lagatter says, quite nice so far besides the heat and humidity. I hear you there. DPI says, rock, Spock, paper, scissors, lizard. I kind of want to learn how to play that, but it also seems way too complicated, DPI. Stoneheart Boy says, oh, you're the greatest scientist in the stupid world. You can even push buttons. Wow, is it hard? DPI says, I had bread for dinner. I don't know what you mean by that Stoneheart Boy. I am actually contributing to science right now. You can too. This is Citizen Science, and this is Bennu, a asteroid that OSIRIS-REx is circling. We did not expect it to be so rocky, and instead, we instead expected it to be pretty smooth, but OSIRIS-REx is going to collect samples from this, and we're trying to help find a good landing spot. Not landing spot, because it's not going to properly land. It's going to do a touch and go maneuver. But it needs to do the touch and go maneuver in such a place that the spacecraft won't bump off at a weird angle. We also need to make sure that it's safe, that the collection head, which is kind of like a vacuum, doesn't clog. I've heard about that. It cool, you cool? Okay, cool. Some people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I know. It looks like I'm doing nothing. But really, it's super important. And we are up to 1,072 images done. Hopefully that'll bounce up to 1,073 after I click submit and check it. Just kind of keeping an eye on the time. I think I might click submit on this image because there's a whole lot of marks here. And if I click submit now, I think we can get a new image and I can complete the next image. There's a graphic DPI and lag adder that, you know, does show what beats what and so on and so forth. It just adds so much complexity that I'm like, what? So much complexity. I know, Fluffy. You want more Cheerios. He's like, yes, please. I've learned to stand off to the side and beg. Yeah, that's... I don't know what that link is, so... The last time I opened a link and thought it was off screen, it was on screen, so we're just not going to open any links. We're just not going to open any links. Some of these boulders are weird. This site or program works on trust. So here's how it works, Stoneheart. 15, that's, you know, 5, 10, 15 people look at each image, right? And then all of the marks are combined. And if somebody's marks don't line up with, you know, other people, those marks are usually thrown away. So yes, we are trusting that people are doing their best and not sabotaging. But, you know, with 15 people, you should be able to get an accurate representation of everything that's here. Like, I might miss something. I probably have missed something on this image, and somebody else might catch it, or maybe I marked way too many things. It's one of those things. But yeah, it essentially does work on trust, but there's safeguards in place in case somebody just wants to, you know, draw smiley faces on the image. Because if we see it's a smiley face over the master image and the marks don't line up with everybody else's marks, we're probably going to throw that out. And the image might get tossed back in for somebody else to look at. So, Veronica says, sabotage will not be allowed. Yeah. So, hey, Veronica, I know I started early. Y'all know I start early. Today is the day where I'm supposed to get my scooter stuff taken care of, which the license, or not the title transfer, and then the license plate or registration transfer. Or both, actually, because I am just going to use the same license plates and switch one from the other. And then my dad will have to get license plates for, you know, his. So, yeah, nope, it's not Tuesday. It is totally Wednesday. Hey, Q. And because I told my parents that I would be done at 2, I figured we would get a little bit of asteroid marking / rock support group in, and then, you know, get daily space started. So I'm saying that image is done. It typically hangs for a little bit. It will go through. There we go. Now we have a new one. So I am going to flip over here, and I'm going to open in a new window. Yay! It went up to 1,073. That actually makes me very happy. So, pull everything else back up. And then I think we have enough time to do this image. There's nothing bright, so we don't have to worry about that. And there's big boulders, which, oh, that makes me happy. Hey, Sammy! We didn't start without you this time. You know, we'll mark it like that. It's a weird looking rock. Oh, thanks for the follow, Stoneheart. So this is what happens. I'll pull up the doggos. Give me 1 second. So this is what happens when alerts pop up on my screen. So hey, Puck, speak. Really? Tinker, speak. Look what I got. They're like, really? The dogs are not cooperating. Puck, speak. Oof. Anyways, usually I get the dogs to bark. But you can't see the Cheerios in my hand. But we're gonna make it rain! And I throw Cheerios at the dogs. And I have 2 dogs. The one you see on camera, just his head, is Puck. There's more Cheerios. The white one is Puck, and there's a Cheerio in his fur, but that's not on camera. And I have a little dachshund, or Teckle, as it's known in some languages, called Tinkerbell. Oh no, he's eating. Trust me, he's eating them. And there we go. She's on camera now. No, Tinker's very food motivated. Puck can be a bit of a brat. And for those of you that haven't seen the bit goal at the bottom of the screen, it's just a fun little bit goal that we have. I have it up on my Asteroid scene stuff. And it's just for face reveal of the favorite humans, being my significant other. Oh, I heard something else. More cheers. Face reveal of my favorite human and Dr. Pamela's spouse. So, Puck, speak. No? Tinker, speak? Oh, she whined. Alright. And speak! There we go! Hey, that's enough. That's enough. And make it rain! Alright, Tinker says thank you, I say thank you, Puck says thank you, everybody's excited. Alright, pull chat back up. Stoneheart says, every new sub makes him more fat, it's not healthy. Actually, I'm feeding them Cheerios. They may or may not be in your country, but they're just, what is it? It's an oat cereal that has no sugar. They're very low calorie. I mean, yeah, it's kind of junk food, but yeah, lots of fiber. It kind of is junky food, but there are worse things to give the dogs. And I do watch my dog's weight very carefully because there's nothing worse than a fat dachshund. So they're just low-calorie treats. And, you know, people eat it as breakfast cereal, and dog trainers use it as, you know, cheap, low-calorie treats. So, have some more, doggos. Alright, so back to the boulders. So yeah, and it has Snoopy on the package, so it technically is dog food. Yeah, it can technically be dog food, Lagatter. So yeah, no, it's a relatively healthy for humans breakfast cereal. It's not full of sugar, and that makes it okay for dogs. So it's good. They're all good. It's more along the lines of when they're like, okay, we're full of Cheerios, we don't want any more. Then I'm like, well, I don't have any cuteness to show y'all. Hey Guido, yes. It is indeed a bit of whack the boulder before daily space. I have to go at 2, which is an hour after we start daily space. So instead of doing whack-a-boulder before or after the thing, I figured while I'm killing time and just chatting with y'all, we can, you know, be productive and do whack-a-boulder. I actually like that, whack-a-boulder. And we did pass 100 images done, Twister. Also, hello, Bombadil. I don't know why I struggle with your name some days, and some days I'm fine. Lagatter says, oh, how I miss the 80s when all cereals were healthy. I know, right? We have 2 cereals in the house. One is definitely a sugar cereal, as they say in Canada, and the other one is Cheerios. No. What are you doing? How did I activated my phone? Because it thinks the local hot dog place serves cereal. It does not. Today I learned certain words that sound like Siri will trigger my phone. I've never used that. Ever. Hot dog equals Tinker, yeah. No, there's a, yeah, I think sugar cereal does sound like Siri. Oh, you have some office paperwork today. No, there's a hot dog place here where you can essentially tell them what all you want on your dog, and that can be everything from... They used to have, like, crickets. Roasted crickets. It can be everything from bacon jam to like chili dog to what else is there? I have to think. To my favorite my favorite when I'm drunk, like really drunk. Actually, I shouldn't say that. But anyways, it's a very sweet hot dog. And it has like sugar cereal and marshmallow fluff and peanut butter, I think. So, yeah, Veronica, the crickets really bothered me one time. And then they haven't had them since. I guess there's a cricket farm in Youngstown. So, Bennu, nice name for a dog. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna get another dog anytime soon. I think that would be a good name for a dog, though. Ah! Don't do it. I will give you the Fluttershy stare. This is one big boulder. Here I am marking it weird. I will totally give you the Fluttershy stare. Lagatter says, I wonder if anyone has modded their voice control assistant to be HAL 9000. I'm sure somebody has. I have not modded any of mine, but I'm sure somebody has. And my dogs are... Don't cross the streams. I know, right? Dogs are like, alright, we're patiently waiting. When are you gonna throw us more Cheerios, Mom? Better if rocks will be bigger or smaller? I know I like images that are mostly boulders because there's less to mark. Essentially the guideline for marking them, if it's 2.5, so that counts as a rock. If it's 2.5 times the size or diameter, whatever, of the rock marking tool, it gets marked as a rock. If it's bigger than that, it gets marked as a boulder. Oh, look, Bombadil! Puck, speak. Look. Speak! Alright, shh. That was good. What about... I guess Puck's just never going to say thank you ever again. So here's the Cheerios. And... don't. And... make it rain! Apparently I need to speak and hold my hand up like this. Say speak and hold my hand up like that for Tinker to acknowledge that it's time to bark. I don't... You know, it's funny, because he's the one that started off barking, and Tinker's like, well, I figured this out. Stoneheart asks, where is my husband? I am not married, but my favorite human is at work. Alright. Did a bunch of marks disappear, or is it just... I think it's just my screen flashing. Yeah, my favorite human's at work. He doesn't like being in the house when I stream anyways. Because I asked him once, like, when I was still pretty early, if he could just not be home while I do it. Because I felt self-conscious about talking to the computer. When, you know, there's no voices on the other end. And he's just, since then, made a habit of, if he's home, on like a Sunday, he'll go see a movie without me. I think it's kind of funny and cute. So, yeah. But yeah, no, he's at work. It's not talking to a computer, it's talking to us. I know, but if somebody doesn't know what I'm doing, it just sounds like I'm talking to a computer, and it's weird because I have to read what you guys type. You can't just... I mean, we can all voice chat. Twister says, maybe we are all computers. Oh my. But I'm used to doing, like, voice chat and talking to people, not, you know, staring at my camera, having all these lights on. And, things of that nature. So, organic computers, I mean, we're working on quantum computers. I think we are working on organic computers. I haven't followed that since I've graduated. It's one of those things that you only have so much bandwidth, and I'm like, cool, but I don't have bandwidth for this. Guido says, I've been talking to computers since the late 1980s, mostly swearing though, and until recently they never listened. Ironheart says, hello everyone, on the train home from work, nightmare journey with cancellations. Oh my, well, I'm glad you're on your way home now. My friend's son refers to me as his mom's imaginary friend. That's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. So I think this technically it is, and these other tiny boulders should probably also be marked as rocks. No! So let me erase this boulder mark and move this. Oh, I erased the rock mark. That's okay. Well, thank you, Stoneheart. Yeah. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't really help you with immigration. I know I don't know a lot about immigration. And no, I can't afford to adopt anyone. Okay. Ay. So... So many rocks, so many rocks. Are we just blaming everything on Guido now? Hey, Refs Matt, bonjour. With my terrible French. We are marking, we'll actually probably finish up this image and then, you know, do our usual salut, and then do our usual hang out and wait for everybody to show up before we get started. I can't even pronounce that, Veronica. Strachovica? I don't even know Polish for hello. All right. There's a lot of rocks. I'm glad 14 other people are going to be like... Sounds like, yeah, Polish. Oh, it is Russian. Ruski? Well, we'll have to wait for Veronica to say what language it is. Hello in Russian written phonetical. Ah, okay. Stratsavichia. Stratsavichia? Zvratsuit. Yeah. I am infamous at not being able to pronounce things. Yeah. Yeah, I am infamous at not being able to pronounce things. Spasabiki Tovarich. One of my classmates in university took Russian either at Youngstown State or at Case Western, and will literally just be like, yo, and speak Russian to me. And I'm like, you know I don't understand what you're saying. He took Russian. Oh no, he took Russian in high school. That's what it was. He took a lot of Russian in high school. So, yeah. Spazbiki is thank you. Ah. Now, Dr. Pamela can speak more Russian than I can. Although when she would speak Russian to graduate students that spoke Russian, they would just answer her in English. Alright, so I'm going to call this image done. I'm sure there's things that aren't marked. I'm sure I missed things, but this is exactly why... this is exactly why we have 14 people looking at it. Because it's about time to just, you know... I have to do a quick scene change, which hopefully shouldn't break the stream, because I have all my scenes in collections. We're gonna see if we can erase that stray mark. No, I can't erase that stray mark. That's problematic. Well, I'll just draw over it. Oh, you found a Cheerio, Tinker. I heard you crunching. Crunch, crunch, crunch. But yeah, this is exactly why we have 14 other people look at the image, because somebody's going to, you know, mark what I missed, essentially. And yeah. The crunch point, yeah. Biggest boulder ever. Because now I have multiple. Okay. So, that kind of looks like a submerged boulder. I know I keep saying I'm going to submit the image, but I'm always like, I see something else. I see something else. Mark all the things. Okay, I'm going to touch. Have I seen Chernobyl? I have not seen that. It keeps popping up on, what, our Netflix? But I haven't seen it yet. So, image done. That's a really big boulder, and I am very tempted to mark this image, but I know I don't have time. So, yeah, the biggest so far has spawned more than a whole master image. That one was actually pretty impressive. Alright, so we're going to flip over to this. I'm going to close down. We've got 10,074 images done, guys. That's pretty awesome. Veronica says, finished Good Omens last night. I've heard it was good. We've talked, like, Favorite Human and I have talked about it, but we haven't actually sat down to watch it. So, here should be the awkward transition. Okay, there we go. We should have audio now. Hooray! I don't know why it does that to me. Okay. Just trying to get everything set up for daily space. Oops, not this one. Yeah, that one. Okay, move things around. I see y'all chatting, but I can't read chat. Spin, spin, spin. Yeah, I saw that spinning too. Hello, Kevlar. Okay. Trying to get everything where it needs to be. Which is actually trickier than it sounds sometimes. Hey, Paranor. There we go. Okay. Transition. There we go. Chernobyl is... Paranor says, Chernobyl was good. Another good series. Veronica adds BBC radio play was so good. Hey, Kevlar. Hey, High Speed. Sammy says, he has not seen Endgame yet, so. Okay. Ah! Well, that's right. I keep forgetting I can't edit my notes after they're pulled up in presenter mode. Okay. What? Hey, what are you doing? Get over here and be cute on camera. Yeah, is Twitch being twitchy? I feel like Twitch is being twitchy. Advanced menu settings. Well, I did what Twitch said to do, so there's that. I'm just gonna pull everything back up to where it was, so I can see everything. And yeah, run PC on turbo. I don't think it's my connection, because I have a good connection. I think it's Twitch. Oh, look at you being such a good boy. Set to auto. Oh, the resolution? Yeah, if you're watching at home, set the resolution to auto. It should just pick what's best for your speed. Because I broadcast at 720, which is easier on a lot of you than 1024. Oh, old PCs used to have a turbo button on the case. I understand. No, I built my PC. It doesn't have a turbo button. I think it's FBI run. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. It's cool. It's cool, man. Rah. I had a 486 back in the day. I had a 486 back in the day. 1800 BST. Astro B is like, hey, let's get this started. Alright, well, let's see if everybody's here, Astro B. Thank you for letting me know that you're here, because, you know, we can't start without you. Okay. Alright. Turbo button, best button. Alright, let's see. Bombadil's here. Bill Nash is here. He's probably like, I'm just trying to do the thing. Kevlar's here. Kerbal's here. Larry's weird. Hey, Larry. Mike's here. Planetary Pan's here. Ref's Matt. Sammy. Storm and Joe, Stoneheart, Trekker Kev. I feel like we're still missing people. But I know a lot of the regulars are here. Also, it just kind of cuts off at the bottom. So, I don't know. Hanny, you're right. We are missing Hanny. So I'm going to take advantage of this time, and I'm going to update the Twitch information. And there, all of that should be updated now. You're right, we are totally missing Hanny. So we'll wait a few more minutes for Hanny and a few other people. So before the stream, before I made Twitch break, I was marking, still have pasta salad. I was marking Bennu before the stream, simply so, gosh, the reflection on my glasses is bothering me. Simply so we, could get some marking done, and it looked like, what, 3 or 4 images total, were added to the done queue, which means 45 people, did some markings. That's pretty awesome in that 1 hour. Hey, Kevlar donated 100 bits. Let's see if we can get the dogs to say thank you. Hey, Puck. Speak. No? You're just gonna pant. Tinker, speak. And speak. Alright, really? The dogs aren't gonna be vocal about it. Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, shh, shh, shh. What about you, Puck? Do you have any opinions on this? Puck's like, no, just throw it. Alright, and make it rain! Alright. And another fistful. Puck's like, just please stop hitting me with the Cheerios. Just bounce them off the wall. The Make It Rain rocket launch is coming up. Yeah, Refsmat, you always remind me of that. Paranor says it's raining here. Hey, Astro B. Yeah, I know you're here. We're waiting to see if Hanny's gonna pop up. And I don't know. We're gonna give him another minute and then we'll get started. So yeah, the Make It Rain rocket launch is coming up. We're not gonna talk about that one today because it's not happening within the week, and I try to keep all the launch stuff I talk about constrained to a week. And we're not even going to cover everything because awesome people found things after I had finished my slides. So yeah, like the Dragon capsule returned to Earth, and I totally missed that one. Veronica says, it sprinkled the other night and I thought of Tank. Aw. Aw. We'll trade rain for 31 degrees Celsius sunny. Oh, I know, DPI. I know. It rained earlier. I don't know if it's still going to rain today. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and kill the music, because it is indeed 5 minutes after. And I think we're just gonna have to go without Hanny today. So I hope he's okay. Let me pull everything back up. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? Q asks, are there any craters on Bennu? Yes, I've marked some. There are indeed craters on Bennu. They're really hard to see. It's not like marking craters on the moon. Alright, so, we're gonna roll the rocket video. And I think I'm going to stop, I don't think I'm going to do any lapdog docking. But, oh my goodness, Larry says northern India hit 50 degrees Celsius. 50 degrees, and it's just June. Oh my. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to roll the rocket footage, and then we'll get right back at it, and we'll get right started with the show. So yeah, see you on the other side. Alright, so welcome to Daily Space for today, June 5th, 2019. I am your host, Annie Wilson. As a reminder, I am not the astronomy. I know enough astronomy to be dangerous. And because it's me, we normally cover rocket and space missions and things of that nature. So, as a quick reminder to everybody, please at me with your questions during the broadcast. I will answer all of them once I'm done with all the news stories. And I have essentially 2 news stories for you today and a factoid. So yeah, let's get at it, shall we? So the first story I have for you today, as soon as I find it. No, I broke it! How? How did I break it? Oh, this is embarrassing. This is super embarrassing, guys. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to re-roll again. How? How did I break it? Alright. Alright, we're gonna do this over again. Because this is me, and this is what we do now. This is my life. This is my life. This is my life. Alright. I'm gonna roll the rocket video again. I'm going to see... I'm going to make sure, while the rocket video is rolling, I'm going to make sure everything's fixed. And yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Alright, so, thank you for your patience. Alright, hi, welcome to Daily Space. I'm your host, Annie Wilson, and today is June 5th, 2019. And because I am not an astronomer, I know enough astronomy to be dangerous, your space and astronomy news today is going to be really focused on, hey, what launched, what's going to launch, and other, rockety things. So as a reminder, you can ask me questions during the broadcast. Please at me with your questions so I can see them easier. And if I don't answer it while I'm covering the news stories, we'll talk about them after I'm done with the news. So yes, please ask questions. Please feel free to correct me if I get something wrong, because I do make mistakes. I am only human. And we'll just kind of roll at it. So today I have 2 news stories and an interesting factoid for you today. So let's get at it. Alright. We are all here. We're all ready. Strap in. Let's do this. Okay, my first news story for you today. We're going to talk about a rocket launch that we didn't stream. Why didn't we stream it, you ask? Because it's China. And we don't stream Chinese launches because Great Firewall of China, Chinese literally use different social media than the rest of us, so it's not like I can just go pull up somebody on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. Plus, China doesn't broadcast their launches live. They take video of them, they will show you the video afterwards, and, that's just how the Chinese roll. It's annoying, I know, because we all like watching the live launches, but we just have to be patient and wait for China to, essentially tell us how it went, or at least the people living in China to tell us how it went. So yeah, there was a launch. It was late last night, early this morning, about 4-something a.m. UTC. And as far as I could tell, this launch added 1 or more satellites to the current JLN-1 constellation, which does remote sensing. And there were reports that I think up to 5 other satellites were part of the payload. I don't know. It's hard to get information about this stuff. So the neat thing about this launch is that it was done from the middle of the sea. Yes, seriously. This rocket was launched from the ocean. This is not the first time we've ever launched a rocket from the ocean. It's just been the first time in, let's just say 25 to 30 years that we've done a sea launch. It's been that long. So this was a solid fuel rocket. And I'll show you pictures of that in a second. So first, here's an image that Twitter user Next Launch provided. The red circle that you see up here is where it was launched from. This dotted white line is what they suspected the flight path would be, and this green square down here is where they expect the debris to fall. And here is essentially all of that same image, just as I explained it, notated. So yeah, 20-kilometer radius circle where the launch platform will be located, launch direction, and the debris drop zone. So this is actually a bit of a change for China, because normally their debris from rockets falls on land, even villages, and sometimes it doesn't even land on Chinese villages. So, the reason why China usually does a whole lot of very inland launches is literally security. They're able to physically secure the area, so you can't really get literally spies checking in. You still have the satellite footage of things going over, but you can keep people away. And this still allows them security because you can still keep people away from your, mobile launch platform. And the other nice thing is that no debris is going to land on anybody. This is a very refreshing change. And yeah, the average sightseer isn't just going to be able to have a boat to go out that far off the coast and check out this launch. But speaking of which, there was totally a cruise to the launch zone. This is from a Weibo user, and this is a picture of her with her cruise ticket. I don't know if she was one of the lucky winners of going and seeing the launch, or if somebody set up an independent cruise. But yes, there was totally a cruise to go see this launch, when that always makes me happy. Always makes me happy. And I have some other photos from Chinese social media. This is, I know it's kind of a terrible picture, but this is a picture of the launch barge from, I'm assuming, the cruise boat. And it's grainy, but yeah, you can definitely see that it's in the middle of the ocean. Middle of the ocean. This next picture was taken by somebody on the barge, and I think released by Chinese state media. This is that same solid fuel rocket, the Long March 11, going vertical. And here we have it, vertical on the pad. It doesn't look like it's a very large rocket, but it's going to be large enough to get where it needs to go. And from everything I was able to tell on social media, the launch was successful. Unfortunately, no, I don't have video for you, but some of the images were neat, because when it took off from the barge, it had this weird puff of black smoke, and then it lit up. So it was almost like I had a first ignition boost to get it high enough away from the barge so that when the rocket fuel kicked in, it didn't melt the barge. So that was neat. That was neat to see, but I unfortunately don't have video for you, but there is video out there. Your best bet is to look for the Twitter user Launch Stuff, because they have a launch media thread. So that was the space flight that happened. And now we're going to talk about the space flight that's going to happen. So SpaceX has another launch, June 11th. The last I checked, it was at 14:17 UTC. That's going to be 10 a.m. Eastern Coast and 7 a.m. West Coast time. And it's going to be Falcon 9 rocket, and it's going to launch RADARSAT for Canada's Space Agency program. And the launch site is on the West Coast this time, so it will be from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, and this is a booster that's previously been used. And to give you an idea of, what RADARSAT is, this is a... Thank you for the bits! I will totally shower the dogs afterwards. This is a poster that CSA put out, and it's going to be, so there's already RADARSAT 1 out, and there's already RADARSAT 2 out, and this new RADARSAT is actually going to be a constellation of 3 satellites to replace RADARSAT 2. And it's essentially going to monitor the oceans and ice, support emergency teams during natural disasters, check for oil spills, and detect ships. So, but yeah, 3 identical satellites working together. It will take approximately 250,000 images a year, which is 50 times more than the first generation of RADARSAT. It is 3.6 meters tall. The solar panel width is just under 7 meters, and the actual width of the satellite bus looks like it's just over a meter. Its mass each is 1,430 kilograms. For Americans, that's 715 2-liter bottles, which is the mass of a black rhino. Each of these satellites weighs as much as a black rhino. And one complete orbit will be done in 96 minutes. So they're going to go really, really fast. So I'm going to scroll down through my notes. They are totally calling this for short RCM, which I think is kind of amazing. The reason why they're collecting this data is that there's Arctic waters that need to be safely navigated through. There's farmers that want, to maximize the crop yield so we can feed everybody. First response, you always want to have the best, newest image you have of natural disasters like forest fires. I think Canada gets earthquakes, floods, things of that nature. Like, you really want really good imaging of what's going on with these things so you can be like, okay, this is the sources we need, these are the people we need to evacuate, etc., etc. And it will be able to access 95% of any part of the globe on an average day. So that's probably an average, but it does have the radar stuff in there, but there's a separate instrument just for tracking of ships, and I've already forgotten what that instrument is called. But keeping track of ships is important because, yeah, you'll want to know where ships are so they don't collide into things and or each other. So this is not, I repeat, this is not the image of the actual booster. This is just a Falcon 9 booster that was reused. The booster that is going to be reused is Bravo 1051, and it was previously used for the Crew Dragon Demo -1 on March 2nd. I don't know what its plans, what SpaceX's plans are for after this mission, but they are going to recover it. So, that was your second launch, and now to your factoid. So this following factoid has the seal of approval from Dr. Pamela. For those of you that can't see the image on the screen, it is a cartoon seal face on an award banner. It is adorable, and I hope you all enjoy it. So, why are we talking about seals? I'll get to that. So this image on the screen right now is a harbor seal member of the Pinniped group. Pinniped group, it includes true seals, fur seals, sea lions, and walruses. Don't worry about all that. Essentially, if it's a semi-aquatic carnivorous mammal that uses flippers as its main method of moving around, it's a pinniped. It's a pinniped. So why am I showing you a picture of a harbor seal? Why are we talking about seals? Harbor seal specifically is one of the species of pinnipeds that live near Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, where the next SpaceX launch is going to occur, and booster recovery. The booster recovery is going to occur. So while I was researching for today's show, I came up with conflicting information about, are they going to recover the booster or are they not going to recover the booster? Rocket Launch Live, which is the source I go to keep track of rocket launches, said it was going to recover the booster. And a user on SpaceX's subreddit said they weren't going to recover the booster. Okay. That's not confusing or anything. So let's get some more background information. We know SpaceX really wants to reuse every booster they can. And we also know that losing a booster can potentially impact future missions. It's happened. Losing a booster can cause the delay of a future flight. So why would SpaceX willingly sacrifice a booster? Harbor seals and the federal government. In accordance with the Marine Mammal Protection Act, SpaceX had to file a bunch of paperwork to get permission to disturb pinnipeds in the area. Launches aren't necessarily a problem for most of the species, but the sonic boom from the booster landings is. And out of the 4 species of pinnipeds that usually hang out near Vandenberg Air Force Base, harbor seals are easily spooked by launches and typically flush or dive back into the ocean from, their haul out, their bit of land that they're hanging out on. And if launches disturb harbor seals, the sonic boom is likely to disturb them too. Flushing into the ocean can present a few problems. First one is potential pup abandonment, which actually hasn't been observed. And the second one is stampeding, which could crush pups. And guess what? It's currently pupping season. Pupping season for harbor seals, as defined in this wonderful, where is it? This wonderful 14-page document is defined as March 1st through June 30th. And all the paperwork that SpaceX filed gave them authorization to launch during this period, but not to land the boosters, with very few exceptions. So landing boosters during pupping season was just flat out a no-go. So now that you know all of that, I'm sure you can see where my confusion came from. It's currently pupping season because this launch is going to happen on June 11th. Pupping season ends, according to, this document, June 30th. So they shouldn't be recovering the booster, but they are. How, why, what's going on? So it turns out that SpaceX no longer has to file an annual incidental harassment authorization, or IHA, which is the start of this. This 14-page document essentially lays out, yes, this is what you can do, this isn't what you can do. So they no longer have to do that. They had to file that for a couple years. Instead, they follow the Air Force's rules for Vandenberg, which is 3 pages long. And the main difference between these is that the Air Force rules, they can recover the booster. So because they are now following Air Force rules, they can recover the booster. And, yeah. Sorry, I'm catching up on my notes. But wait, there's more. So with the IHA, that super long document, SpaceX had to have someone count the seals before, during, and after the launch. In certain sensitive times like pupping season, additional counts and monitoring was required up to, I think they had to go back 2 weeks after the launch. And now, because SpaceX is following the Air Force rules, they still have to continue doing the counts and the monitoring, which is quite similar, if not exact, to what they previously had to do. And as far as I can tell, they almost always have to do this count, and they especially have to do it during pupping season. So it's an arrangement that seems to make everybody involved happy. SpaceX gets to reuse their boosters, and the federal government gets an accurate record of pinniped populations and the potential harassment. So, yeah, there's that. And now I'm going to flip over to read all your questions. So, wow, there's a lot of talk about, seals. So, while you type in your questions, I'm going to just take this time to remind you, and spare you from the Great Wall of Text later, that, hey, this has been a production of CosmoQuest. And our host institution is PSI, that's Planetary Science Institute, in Tucson, Arizona, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University. And we are literally brought to you by you. So thank you to everybody for your donations, your pledges, your merch purchases, your bits, everything. Thank you for all of it. I really do mean that. We wouldn't be here without you, etc., etc., etc. I know you're like, we've heard all this before, but no, I'm serious. Thank you. We couldn't do this without you. So, and I know that there were some bits donated a couple times while I was doing the news, so here's the Cheerios. And speak! I've broken the dogs. And make it rain! So thank you for the bits! Alright. So, Kevlar says, thanks, Annie. Well, thank you. Don't break it, Annie. Oh my goodness, I'll watch that clip later, Sammy. Alright, so now I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to look for all of your questions. And, hopefully I will be able to catch everything. So, yes, human error earlier. As Paranora points out, yes, launching from the ocean means first stage doesn't land on somebody's house. Yes, it's safe downwind. Refsmat says it almost looks like a ballistic missile launch, but not quite. Intercontinental ballistic missiles do use solid fuel, the same as this rocket. Just think of, intercontinental ballistic missiles as rockets that are pointed the wrong way. So yeah. Q points out, it's almost as if the Chinese don't want us to get too much information. That is absolutely correct. You have no idea how correct that is. Yeah, it is very nice that they are going to, that nobody's going to get hit and impacted by this. Zion says, China has a launch site for the next generation of heavy rockets. I actually need to do more research into China's launch sites, because I really only know of the two where they tend to do a lot of satellite launches from. Very brown water. Yeah, the water was kind of brown. Open Cage asks, Okinawa was downrange then? That's a very good question. Let's take another look at this map. So, give me a second to pull the map back up. And I don't know, because it's not really, oh yeah, here we go. So, yes, Japan was kind of downrange from the thing, but it missed... Oh yeah, and Okinawa's all the way down here. Oh wow. Oh wow. There's part of me that's like, I should have known Okinawa was like really separated from the rest of Japan, but I never made that connection. Yes, Okinawa was downrange. And they probably had to work with the Japanese government to be like, okay, we're firing this thing. There's a lot of history between China and Japan, and it's not all positive, and it also depends on whose viewpoint you're reading. So, yeah, it did indeed cross over Japan, but I think at that point it was high enough in the atmosphere where it wasn't a concern, and the debris drop zone was definitely in an unpopulated area, so that's always a positive. Larry says, our sub-launched missiles do that. Yeah, they do the weird thing. Refsmat adds, launching rockets from barges is a good thing if sea level starts to rise to get up over the coastal launch sites on land. So, I think Twister links a YouTube video that I haven't seen yet saying that I think this is the Chinese sea launch. It might be. I was busy typing up the seal stuff this morning to go look for things. Oh, Refsmat did bits too. All right, so now we need to do more bits. I knew I heard it twice. And Puck's like, this is gonna happen. Tink's getting out of her crate. Speak? Really? Really? Anyways, they do say thank you. And make it rain! Alright, so thank you, Refsmat. DPI says, oh my, the end of June is getting busy. There are launches on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 25th, and 27th. Yes, so I am enjoying this very slow launch week because I know it's not going to be very slow later this month. Yeah. Yeah. No, Stoneheart, we're not going to talk about Musk satellites because I haven't done... There was some... they were really bright when they were first launched, and I have not done any poking to see if they're still really bright. But yeah, it's a lot. No talk about Starlink. So it's not forbidden. I just don't have any news about it. I haven't been updated. I don't know how bright it is, because if it's still bright, I'm probably going to whine or state my opinion or tell you how bright it is. I'm not sure which one of it would be. So, yeah, no worries. Refsmat cracks a joke and says, the Toronto Raptors are not planning to use RADARSAT data to help win the NBA championship, but if they could... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey, Susie! Stoneheart says, I thought seals lived only near the North Pole. No, actually, they live a lot of different places. I live fairly inland, so I don't have a lot of experience with seals. The most experience I have is going to San Francisco and watching them literally bark. I think they're cute. I also think that they should be left alone and not harassed. So, I'll pull up the picture of the harbor seal again. Yes, Larry, seals totally took over a wharf in San Francisco. Do otters count as pinniped species, I wonder? No. Because they don't count, and I don't remember why. But no, otters don't count as pinnipeds. I think it's because otters have paws. Otters have paws, and that's why they don't count. Restmat says, so they got the seal of approval. Heck yeah, they got the seal of approval. And And I'm catching up. At least they're still hoovering the Cheerios. They totally will. Kerbal says the CZ-11, which is really the Chinese name for the Long March 11, is reportedly based on the DF Delta Foxtrot 31 ICBM, which would make sense. Veronica says, I seem to recall that there were some boundary disputes in the sea near there, but it looks like they avoided that area. It does. And there's the National Science Foundation press release on part of the concerns for Starlink. Planetary Pan says, there aren't seals in San Francisco. They are sea lions. There's a difference. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to thank you for the correction, and I'm just going to go with, I have no experience with pinnipeds. I remember seeing pinnipeds in San Francisco, because pinnipeds totally covers sea lions. Yeah, I misspoke. Again, I live in Ohio. I have a Great Lake. Pinnipeds do not live in Lake Erie. So, yeah, I just thought that was... Planetary Pan says, that's absolutely fair. I just happen to live here. Gem Doctor says, sea lions have visible ears, seals don't. Yes, that is very true. I'm just gonna stick with pinnipeds. Pinnipeds covers everything, including walruses, if I didn't mention that before. So... and I think it's a fun word. So, yeah, pinnipeds. And, yeah, science. We are here for science. Yes, we are, Veronica. We are totally here for science. So, hey, Gem Doctor. Well, that is all the news and all the factoids I really had for you today. We can sit here and continue chatting about pinnipeds, because I really did find it interesting that it went from 14 pages to 3 pages. So, I don't know if there's a good way to show the difference, but it was interesting reading, and I thought I would share that, bit of a factoid with you. Part of the reason why this was 14 pages is because it goes very much into the different species of pinnipeds that are near Vandenberg. It goes into the different types of harassment and what counts as things that need to be, what counts as behavioral harassment, and levels of response. They actually have a table for levels of pinniped behavioral disturbance on land. And essentially, if pinnipeds look up around at the noise, it's not considered behavioral harassment. It's just called an alert. Their definition of it is head orientation or brief movement in response to the disturbance, which may include turning head towards the disturbance, craning head and neck while holding body rigid in a U-shaped position, changing from a lying to sitting position, or brief movement of less than twice the animal's body length. So that's not considered behavioral harassment. The other two are, we mentioned flush, which was literally the pinnipeds diving from land, from their haul out into the water. And that's level 3. That's the most severe. And the one in between that is movement. And their definition is movements in response to the source of disturbance, ranging from short withdrawals at least twice the animal's body length to longer retreats over the beach, or if already moving, a change in direction greater than 90 degrees. So yes, this has a whole lot of detail. And there's four species that normally hang out near Vandenberg. But this covers 6 species, so it's a lot. And yes, it is somebody's job to go out and take video or be a trained individual And by trained individual, you need to know what species you're looking at, the age range, the gender, and count. So yeah, this is both plans require that whoever does the count to do that, but the easiest thing to do is just take video. They also have provisions for night launches where you can't see clearly, like maybe they'll use night vision stuff for video or, you know, monitoring and counting, and maybe they'll just do it the next day. But yeah, the really long document goes into a whole lot of detail, and the Air Force document is like, here's a whole lot of words saying how and when we're going to count. And they're basically going to count all the time. So 3 pages say that we're going to count all the time and this is how we're going to do it. Practically all the time. There seems to be very few exceptions, and I'm used to reading military, so that's how I interpret it. So yeah. But out of the 4 species, harbor seals are definitely the ones that startle the most. Some other species of pinnipeds during launches don't even react. So yeah, so speaking of seals being hunted in certain environments, so I don't know about Canada's regulations because I'm not Canadian, and I'm definitely not going to try to speak for Norway, Russia, and Greenland. But in the US, in America, in Alaska, seals are still a food source. And whether or not you count it as major, I would say important. I think it depends on where you are in Alaska as far as how much seal meat is consumed. And it is definitely a native thing only. Only native peoples, First Peoples, Inuit, whatever term you choose to use, they are the ones that are allowed to do the hunting. There's usually a lot of cultural stuff behind it, and it's usually sustainable, and it's important that in America and in Canada, if that's still the case, because I suspect that's also the case in Canada, where it's really native peoples or First Peoples hunting the seals. And it's very culturally important, and they're doing it sustainably. It's not a commercial thing. You're not allowed to sell the meat. If you happen to not be part of that group and you just happen to have seal meat or blubber shared with you, that's pretty awesome. So Larry says, in Canada, commercial hunting season is from November 5th to May 5th, not just natives. Okay. Sammy says, do over, Hanny is here. No, Hanny's gonna have to watch the video on demand. I tried to wait, Hanny. Really, I did. They were getting restless. But we talked about China's sea launch, the next upcoming SpaceX launch, and seals, or pinnipeds. So, yeah. We talked about pinnipeds and and I explained why we were covering pinnipeds in relation to, space stuff. Because the things we do here with space stuff on Earth affect more than just us. And you can't exactly give a warning, so like they do in Florida and just broadcast a sonic boom warning. You can't do that for harbor seals. So yeah. Well, Annie said no, so I guess that seals it. But all the puns. Yeah. And more information about Canada's hunting. Otters are not pinnipeds, Smithtown. They are not pinnipeds. They are definitely not pinnipeds. They don't have flippers. They have paws. So, because they can grasp things. But yeah, so I don't want to get into the politics of seal hunting, but I do know it is culturally important for some groups. And yeah, also, if you've never been to a really remote part of any Arctic country, Nordic country, I suggest you go. Especially if you've lived in a city your entire life. I suggest you find a way to go. I was up there I was in kind of rural Alaska, not the bush. I was not in the bush. I want to clarify that, for a couple weeks. And it was very eye-opening. And I literally brought 100 pounds of groceries from Anchorage to this town I was in for my friend. So, yeah. And I went in late summer, so there wasn't snow or anything. It was actually kind of interesting. But yeah, definitely go, just to experience how remote it is and why some of the people decide to, continue living the way they have been. Are there bears there, Sammy asks. Yes. I did not see any bears, but yes, there is a possibility of bears. Caribou? I can't remember. Moose and caribou. A lot of what I saw was... Did I see an aurora? No. I was there when it was literally light all night long. The sky didn't get dark. It was very, very weird. Very weird. I went out at like 11:30 at night to take pictures, and you didn't need a flashlight or anything. It was the weirdest thing I had to get used to. I was above the Arctic Circle, by the way. So you're saying the bears were barely noticeable. Yeah, I don't think I saw caribou, moose, bears. I didn't see a whole lot of big game. I know they're out there. It was probably because I stayed pretty close to town. I didn't go out to anybody's cabin. And I pretty much made a whole lot of noise when I was out on the tundra to kind of scare anybody away. Not scare people, but scare, bears and stuff away. So, yeah, it was interesting. Candy says, sounds like a situation for blackout curtains. People were literally putting tinfoil up on their windows because blackout curtains just weren't enough. They usually had something very opaque on the windows to make bedrooms really dark. But yeah, it was pretty weird. Paranor says, one may be able to run from a bear, moose much, much harder. Sammy reminds everybody, don't eat the yellow snow. And Veronica would love to see a polar bear from very far away. I agree. No, I was not in the military. I had a friend that was living up there and had been living up there, and I made the decision to go visit. So that's what I did. DPI says, I hope I don't see any bears, but I am hoping to see Aurora. I would love to see Aurora. They were in a good position to see Aurora when weather conditions were right. But yeah, it was interesting. So, it is 10 minutes till. In theory, I'm going to start running errands in 10 minutes. I also didn't see any whales. I still haven't seen a whale yet. So I'm going to wrap it up here. We already did bits of the wall text. And my dog is on the couch making noises because he's my dog. Have to run over 40 kilometers an hour to run from a polar bear. Yeah, no. No, I'm not going to outrun a bear. This is how it ends. This is how it ends. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Come here. Come on. Can you do it? Oof. Oh, I know. All right. So I got the Fluffy. There's no cat sighting today. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this thing up. No, we've gone over this. We've gone over this. Before I totally roll things up, I'd like to remind you that Bennu, we're still marking Bennu. The last I checked, and I'll check again real quick, we have 1,074 images marked. We need to mark another 2,094 right now, and all of these need to be done by July 10th. I know it seems like a lot. We are over a third of the way there, and we can do this. We can do this. Every image needs 15 sets of eyes, and so it takes a while. I know it takes a while. Yes, it does. And, lay down. And so yeah, help us out with that. We want to find a safe place for Osiris Rex to do the sample collection. And we would like to bring samples of Bennu back. So yes, mark what you can. Get your friends involved. I don't know if another 4,500 are coming or if we already have those. I think you're right though. Oh my, it's a lot. There's going to be a lot of images, and we're just going to do our best to plow through. After July 10th, the images that we'll get are going to be essentially close-ups of potential landing sites. So we can definitely pick a good landing site before this fall, because I think it's supposed to do sample collection this fall. But yes, if you can help with mapping Bennu, marking all the hazards, that would be amazing. And I know it's tedious. If you can do one a day, every day, that's great. That's great. It's great. Oh, it just went up. It just went up one. Awesome. I love seeing that number go up. And DPI says, no, it's only 4,500 in total, so another 1,400 images. Okay. Oof. Oof. All right, so yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's almost, once we get past 2,250? Once we get past 2,250, we will be halfway there. And I feel like we need to do something to celebrate once we get over halfway there. So, yeah, there's the link, Hater Frame, and yeah, just keep poking away at it. It's amazing. We have a Discord. Please come hang out with us in the Discord. You have to read some basic rules and agree to them. It's nothing major. Essentially, keep it to science, no conspiracy theories, no pseudoscience. Be kind to each other, respect each other. You know, hate's not tolerated, and no not safe for work content. That's it. That's essentially all the rules are. And yeah, Paranoir says celebrate with an Astroneer stream. We totally could do a multiplayer Astroneer stream. Release a recipe for rock cakes. That would be amazing. Or stone soup. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Food's always a winner with you guys. Food's always a winner. But yeah, we'll figure out something to celebrate getting halfway there, and then we'll have something else to celebrate getting all the way there. So again, thank you for all of your help with that. And DPI says this might be mistimed. Oh, look at that sub! Socks! Sock and Cats, you missed it. We're getting done. All right, so I'm gonna sprinkle some on the desk for Puck, who I don't think can see them. They're right here. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to hand feed Puck. And let me get the other camera up. Let me get the other camera up, and I'll toss some for Tinker. So here's the Cheerios, and make it rain. And then you'll get some Dash Hound love on the camera. Yeah, I'm wrapping things up. You can watch the video on demand, and after that's no longer available, we archive everything on YouTube. So yeah, because there is, you know, We archive everything for posterity on YouTube. But yeah, you can totally catch the video on demand. The video on demand allows you to leave comments, and I can see the comments. And, you know, there's that. Also, if you join our Twitter, if you join our Discord, you get notifications of when we're going live. You can, that's actually puck crunching. You get notifications of when we're going live. You can talk to other mappers. And, I'm trying to think. If you haven't given us a follow, go ahead and give us a follow, because we do regular streams Sunday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. But we also do random streams whenever rocket launches happen, because we can't always plan those. And whenever I feel like doing a rock support group, because I really haven't nailed down a time for that. It's literally whenever I have time and, you know, have an hour or two to sit down and work on 4 images, because it seems like 4 or 5 images is my limit at once. Alright, so with that, I'm going to wrap everything up. Yes, rocket launches are amazing. We will be streaming that June 11th rocket launch, and I think that's everything, guys. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for all of your support. And I will see you, I don't know, soonish. I'll see you soon. So until then, have a wonderful insert time of day here. And if the weather allows, look up. And be kind to each other. Keep being awesome, and yeah, I'm going to do that thing where I awkwardly roll the credits, and then we'll raid someone. So now's the time to suggest somebody to raid. And if I don't get any suggestions, I'm just gonna let it run to auto-host, because I am not very creative. So yeah, thank you again all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.